Want to build a thriving business while make a much bigger impact in the world by becoming known as an influential voice in your industry? The choice versus just a choice with your ideal client? That's exactly what you're going to learn as I interview business experts, industry thought leaders, and entrepreneurs who are in the trenches making their mark so you can too. This is the award-winning podcast, The Ambitious Entrepreneur Show, and I'm your host, Anne-Marie Cross. And welcome to another episode. So my guest today says, just because you got bad results in the beginning, it does not mean that you're going to get bad results in the end. So joining me on today's show is Marcus Svedin. Marcus, he is a former electrician or industrial electrician, but now he is an entrepreneur and a marketing consultant who has created his very own seven-figure online business. How did he do that? Well, precisely, he is the marketing director of Titan Marketing, the company he co-founded with his friend Benjamin Jones. Now, on today's show, Marcus is going to share proven and tested system to scale or to generate 3 to 19 times ROAs. He's going to also share reliable campaign strategies to help us to scale our business to multiple 6 and 7-figure businesses, as well as a 6-step roadmap to consistently scale with YouTube ads. Lots to cover on today's show, Marcus. So let's dive in from a tradie to an entrepreneur. Can you give us the brief snapshot of what that transition looked like? What was the road that you across that?
It wasn't brief. It was painful. So what happened, right, was I was a industrial electrician, and one day I had the misguided idea of joining my son at this trampoline indoor arena. Yeah. And I was about 30, how was the time? 33, 34, I think somewhere around there. Anyways, I forgot that I wasn't 12 years old, 15 years old anymore. And so I was jumping on these trampolines. So I was jumping from one trampoline to another trampoline, and my knee decided to go, and my knee went to go dislocate, pop back into place. But during that period, basically, my ACL got cut in half, my MCL came off, my PCL in the back end of my knee got damaged, my meniscus got damaged. I did a proper job. If you're gonna do something right, you do it right first time, And that's exactly what I did. And so I couldn't work. I couldn't apply my trade. Anyways, I've been dabbling in email marketing and Facebook advertising for a few years, but just as like a side thing. Yeah. And then my friend Ben, he's big in the coaching, he still is, but he's big in the coaching space, like selling from stage and whatnot. And he's like, "Oh, you can come help me with my Facebook advertising." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I did a pretty good job for him, and then he sent me a few more people, and then me and Ben we've been friends for about 15, 16 years right now. And he was like, "Hey, we should just join forces and do something." I'm like, "Okay." So that's when Titan Marketer was created, 2018, late 2018, somewhere around there.
Yeah, fantastic.
It just fell on me, in the shape of a busted knee.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that situations like that can seem, well, it was a real tragedy, if you will, for your health, has kind of led you down the path to today. And the moral of that story is there's always a way. There's always something new, and we're going to benefit from some of the things that you've learned and done really well. And as the introduction alluded to, there are people who have tried to use various paid marketing strategies, but have not necessarily been able to generate the type of results. But a reminder is that you've got to keep changing things till you do get a system. And of course, one of the things that you are going to share is a proven and tested system to generate, and I'd imagine for yourself and for the clients that you've been able to work, anywhere between 3 and 19 times So
Yep.
share a little bit more about this proven and tested system. What do we need to know?
So there's the system, basically the formula to sales, right? So whether to generate leads or to generate, sell a product, or it may be, right, is basically you need traffic and you need conversions. Okay, you need both of those. If one of them's not working very well, it's not going to work at all. So as far as traffic side goes, we love YouTube. I love YouTube, right? And the reason why I love YouTube, and I'm not saying that other platforms are bad. We use Facebook as well, but we spend most of the time on YouTube. And the reason why we love YouTube as a traffic source is because the type of targeting you can do with it, right? That's that's probably one of the two biggest reasons to use YouTube is because of the targeting. So with YouTube advertising, you can target people who are interested in your products, people who are ready to buy your products, and people who have the money to purchase those products. Right? That's the great thing about YouTube. So just say, for example, right, I sell YouTube ads coaching, for example, right? And I want to target people who are interested in YouTube ads. So I can say to Google, because Google owns YouTube, I can say to Google, hey, anyone that types in how to do YouTube ads in the Google search bar, I'm going to target them with my ad on YouTube, right? Or anyone that's watching these particular types of videos on YouTube advertising, or typing in keywords around YouTube advertising in YouTube, because YouTube's also a search engine. I'm going to hit those people with my ad. Or I can say, anyone visiting my competitors' websites, right? I want to show them my ads, right? And you can't do that anywhere else. Wow. So I'm able, and then also in the Google platform, I can say, all right, well, I'm going to show my ads to those types of people who type into those keywords or visiting those videos or these specific websites. But I want to show it to only people who are in the top 10, 20, 30% of household incomes in America, in Australia, wherever it may be going. Right. So now I'm targeting people who are interested in what I have to offer. They're in the market for what I have to offer, and they have the money to purchase what I have to offer. Right.
Yeah.
Cannot do that anywhere else.
Amazing. Yeah.
And so,
well, let me jump in, Marcus. I'd love to dive in a little bit deeper and just have you answer this question, because I'm sure this is something that you get a lot. Yeah, but Marcus, there's so many people on the YouTube channel already, possibly advertisers too. How is my ad? How am I going to compete? So talk a little bit about what's happening in the space of YouTube ads. Is it still relatively untapped, or what are some things?
Yes. I'm so glad you asked that question. So there's what I like to call an adoption curve. Okay. So you have your early adopters on one side, and then on the other side, you have your laggards, right? So right now, like 75, 80% of people are doing email marketing, right?
Yes.
About 75% of people, advertisers, use Google search advertising, right? About 90+% are doing email marketing, and 90+% are doing Facebook advertising. I mean, you can't even scroll through the Facebook feed without seeing an ad every third, third, whatever we call it, post, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in the States, it's about 8-9% of all advertisers are using YouTube as a means for a paid traffic source, right? Now, if you watch YouTube, the vast majority of ads you see on YouTube are from like big corporates, like car companies and insurance companies and trading companies, and these big 500 S&P companies, they're traded on the stock market. The big companies. You don't see very many individuals, like smaller groups of people, like myself, for example, or other coaches or other products and services. They're not really doing it. So, like, perfect example, we have a client. He sells yachts. Now, when I say yachts, I don't mean like a sailing yacht. I mean like $10 million yachts, right? he comes to me and he's like, oh, I want to try this YouTube stuff. How do I do it? Right? Because no one else is doing it. No one else in his space is doing it. Right? Even in the boat space, no one's doing it. And because he's in Florida, Miami, Florida. I was like, yeah, no worries. And he's already, ever since he started, he's already gotten 3 leads who are interested in some smaller boats, but one's also interested in a big yacht. Right? So it's a very untapped ocean. It's a very blue ocean because not very many people are doing it. A lot of people don't know how to do it or do it properly.
I think so. That certainly as well. Something else, we're very familiar, and you said that 90+% of people are familiar with and really using Facebook ads. What we hear, of course, is when something becomes so popular, those platforms goes, aha, there's a need, there's a desire, we're going to up our prices. And I know that pricing in the Facebook ad space has significantly increased. When you look at it comparably to YouTube, where does that YouTube advertising cost sit? Similar, or what's going on at that? It's kind of the cost. Can you share a little bit?
It depends on. So if you're looking at cost per click, right? So how much does it cost to get a click on Facebook compared to what is on YouTube? That's a very hard question to answer because it depends on how you create and set up your campaigns, right? Like, there's different settings you can do and whatnot. So there's a lot of different things, but if you're looking at your cost per lead or cost per acquisition or whatever it may be, we found it's usually a lot cheaper on YouTube, right? Now, that's if you structure it properly, right? If you do it properly.
Yeah, and I guess you would say that because of the fact that you can target your ideal clients so much better, because there's a lot of things, as you said, that the YouTube advertising platform allows you to be able to target specifically that other platforms don't. And the more targeted you are, the more you're able to get your ad in front of your ideal client and know that it's an ad that's certainly going to create some level of engagement or click, whatever. You're more likely going to get a good result from that, I would imagine.
That's right. Yeah, you are. So, for example, we have another client of ours, and they sell importing coaching here in Australia. So basically they teach store owners and whatnot how to buy Australian made products at the same price, if not cheaper, than buying them from like Asian countries, right? And they're getting leads on Facebook for about $60. On Google, on YouTube, we're getting them for anywhere between $25 and $47, $50, somewhere around there. 25 on a really good day, but usually on average it's about $40. So we're getting them, for $20 cheaper. So, but that's because they have a proven. Sales system, and they have really properly structured YouTube ads.
Yeah. Marcus, share with me, if you would, some of the common mistakes that you see business owners make when it comes to advertising on YouTube that is going to inhibit or minimize the success of a campaign. What are some of the red flags that we need to watch out? Do not do this.
That's a great question. I love that question. So if you have like a winning video ad on Facebook, do not take that ad and pop it on YouTube. It's not going to work. Okay. YouTube ads need to be structured a certain way. Okay. And I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit. Right. So don't do that. Another thing you don't want to do is you don't want to just rush straight into doing it. Right. So you want to do some due diligence, some research on who your target market is. Find out who your avatar is. Like, what are their wants? What are their fears? Right. And then you talk to their wants and their fears inside your ad. Okay. So you really need to know who your target market is, what websites they're visiting, what are they typing into Google search, what videos are they watching, on YouTube, right? So you need to do proper research on who your avatar is, right? Another thing you don't want to do, and this is a huge one, right? When you first get started with Google advertising, whether it's search, display, or YouTube, what'll happen is after a little while, after you spent, a few grand or whatever, or even in the very beginning, right? Sometimes a Google specialist will contact you and say, hi, my name's so-and-so. I'm a Google Ads specialist, and I want to help you set up your campaigns and optimize your campaigns and blah, blah, blah. Okay. They are full of crap. Okay. They have one job, and that job is to make you spend more money, to give Google more money. Right. And this is a $5,000 mistake that I made a long time ago. Yeah. Right. I spoke to a Google specialist, and these people, these specialists, they've never run their own their own campaigns before. Right. They have, and I know this because one of my employees now, she used to be a Google Ads specialist, right? Many moons ago. And so they have like a spreadsheet of different steps that they have to take to, what settings to turn on, this and that. So don't listen to them. Okay. Save yourself $5,000. Don't listen to Google Ads specialists. Okay. Don't be rude to them, but just don't listen to them. What else? Yeah. And so the biggest thing though is make sure you have a properly structured YouTube ad. And that is probably the biggest thing, because you're creative, right? It's the first impression someone's going to have of you when they first see you. So you want to make sure your ad's structured properly, and you're just not throwing a bunch of fluff together.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. If we're thinking about an ad, I mean, if I think about some of the ads that I've seen on YouTube, you've got short, concise ads, you've got longer ads, then you've got some, those ads that you're listening to songs whilst you're not able to skip past ads, and the ads just go on and on and on and on. They're kind of like a masterclass in and of itself. So for an entrepreneur we talk about coaching and so forth, and a lot of coaches, service-based experts, listeners to this show, what are some of the things that they need to consider when it comes to putting together this creative ad that is really going to attract attention? What are some of the things we want to be doing?
Yeah. So as I said before, the first thing you want to do is you want to know who your dream client is. Like, write down their avatar, who they are, what their wants are, what their fears are, what their psychographics, all that stuff, right? You need to know who they are, right? And then when you go to script your ad, okay, you can apply that information to the ad. So a proper YouTube ad, right? Now, if you have a pen and a paper, you want to write this stuff down. So when you are creating your script for your YouTube ad, okay, there are 4 parts, okay? A lot of other coaches on YouTube, they say 3 parts, but we do 4 parts, and it works really well. So the first 5 seconds of an ad, okay, these are skippable in-stream ads, okay? So these are the ones you can skip after 5 seconds, okay? So in that first 5 seconds, the viewer can't skip, so you have 5 seconds to draw in your dream client, draw in people who are going to be interested in what you have to say, what you have to offer, okay? And push aside everyone else, okay? So that skip button is your best friend, okay? That skip button is your best friend. So in that first 5 seconds, you want to have a sharp, concise, catchy message that's going to draw in the people you want and push aside everyone else. So for example, one of my favorites are, is Facebook advertising turning your hair 50 shades of gray? Maybe you should try YouTube ads. Okay. So what I'm doing in that quick sentence is I'm talking to anyone who's already doing Facebook advertising. So they already have a business. They're already doing ads. They probably already have a proven sales system or a lead generation system, whatever. Okay. And then I'm putting the thought of YouTube advertising into their mind. Okay. So then anyone who's not doing Facebook advertising or anyone who's not interested in YouTube advertising, what are they going to do? They're going to hit that skip button. Okay. And they're going to save me money. Right. So that's the first 5 seconds is the hook. Okay. After the hook, okay, the second part of your ad is going to be what we call the elevator pitch. Now, just imagine this. Okay. You have an idea you want to pitch to your boss. Right. So he's on the very top level of, your 70-story skyscraper or whatever it is, right? So you get in the elevator, you go up, and as you get to the top, he enters the elevator, okay? And then he's going to the very bottom. So now you have that amount of time from the top to the bottom to pitch your idea to the boss before he gets off, okay?
Yes.
So in the elevator pitch, you'll say something like, so in the next 90 seconds, I'm going to show you, and then you say, if you'd like to discover more, right? So you do a quick pitch, a quick call to action. If you'd like to discover more, just click below, just click the link below or something like that, right? It's a quick CTA, right?
Yeah.
So then after the elevator pitch, right, you then have your story. Now the story is where you deliver the value. The story is where you deliver what you promised in the elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is where you give value. So you entertain or you educate. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the story, right, you have the close. Now, where a lot of new advertisers to YouTube go wrong on their close is they go, oh, so if you'd like to discover more, just click on the link below, and book get your free strategy call with me or whatever. Okay. Wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not how you close, right? On your ad, when you close, you want to sell the click. Okay. You want to sell the click. So for example, I would say, so if you would like to add an additional 6 to 7 figures to your business using simple YouTube ads just like this, click on the link below, click on the button below, and you'll be taken to a page that looks something like this. And this is where you show them the landing page, right? And where you can book your 45-minute call or whatever it may be you're selling. Okay. Yeah. Now you see the difference? You're selling the click, right? If instead of saying, oh, to learn more or to discover more or whatever, right? You don't want to do that in the close section, right? You want to sell the click in the close. And so that's how your YouTube ad needs to be structured, right? And so now, like, whenever I watch a lot of YouTube ads, particularly from like other coaches, I'm like super judgmental. I'm like, nah, that ad sucks. If it's structured wrong, like, and you do once you've done it a few times, you just get, I don't know. You just get really judgmental.
Don't you? I mean, just you sharing that example, I can see, the first 5 seconds to draw in your dream client, you instantly, if someone's not interested, and I would imagine, as you said, it's going to save you money. That's because if someone skips the ad, you don't have to pay for the cost. You don't want people to watch the ad and for you to pay for it if they're not your ideal client. The elevator pitch. I love how you put that, together, and then just hearing the difference in the close, and to sell the click. If you want to add an extra, 6 or 7 figures with, immediately that's what people are wanting. And that goes right back to what you were saying. You've got to understand who that ideal client is, so that every aspect of that ad, the content that you share, is going to speak directly to them, which is then going to ensure that those who do click are going to have the profile of, or closer to the profile of, your ideal client, which I think is amazing.
Exactly. It's going to be way more qualified click.
Oh, absolutely. And would you say that more concise is better? And I know this is almost like a question, how long is a bit of string? Because if the content is really on point and really speaks to, with value to what your ideal client, you could do a longer one. But have you seen in comparison what length ads, that ad, an example that you gave us, could be quite concise? Right information, right time, here we go, to the call to action.
Yeah, so with your ad length, the optimum time is under 3 minutes. You can do a longer ad, 100%, right? But the reality is that most people are going to watch your ad for maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe a minute, and they're going to know well and truly before your ad ends if they're going to click. Like, they're going to know within 30 seconds if they're going to click in your ad or not.
Yeah, 3 minutes is quite a long time, really.
It is a long time. It is a long time. But like most of our ads that we do now, or anywhere between about 1.5 minutes and 2.5 minutes, somewhere around there. So,
Yeah.
but if it's like retargeting though, like a retargeting ad, yeah, about a minute, somewhere around there. But
And
yeah, under 3 minutes is like, yeah, the
yeah.
schmicko sweet spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, as you said, the ad that you're putting together has to, if you follow that formula that you've just shared, really speaks to your ideal client. Do not, if people are just watching, go back and listen to this when it's finished. Do not think that ads that you're doing on Facebook are just going to be able to be moved across to the YouTube platform. You really do
No,
need
you
to
will waste so
create
much
something
money.
that's specific.
You will waste
Yeah,
money.
absolutely. So you want to talk about the 6-step roadmap to consistently scale with your YouTube ads. Now, something that you just mentioned, and I'm sure this is probably part of the 6 steps, you talked about a retargeting ad. So I would imagine you've got a main ad. A retargeting ad is something that's shorter than that has already someone seen your existing ad, or when you talk about retargeting ad, what do you mean by that?
So retargeting ad. So you're asking great questions. So basically, retargeting is probably one of the best type of advertising you can possibly do, right? Like if you want to add an extra 5 figures to your business in a month or in 2 months or whatever, right? If you want to scale your business, make more money, just set up retargeting. So the vast majority of advertisers today, they don't set up retargeting. So just say you have a website and you're selling a coaching program or a product or whatever it may be. I go to your website, I watch your ad on Facebook, whatever advertising you do, right? They come from that ad, they come to your website, your landing page, and for whatever reason, I decide not to make a purchase, or I decide not to give you my information. Okay. Now, a lot of advertisers, they just let that person go away and never show their ad to them again. Right. Big mistake. The person clicked on your ad, so they obviously had some kind of inclination to do that, to check you out, right? But for whatever reason, they couldn't go through the purchase. They couldn't go through with giving you their information. I don't know. Maybe the kettle went off. Maybe the kids were going crazy. Who knows? Okay. Maybe the boss walked in and they had to quickly turn it off. There's a million and one reasons. So what you do is you just show them. You pixel them with Facebook, or you hit them with your Google retargeting code, and you just show them another ad, right?
Yeah.
So and it'll be a different ad. So on Google, for example, you can retarget with display network advertising, which is my number one type of advertising when it comes to retargeting, right? I'll talk about it in a second. And you can have another YouTube ad, okay? And it's just messaged differently, So like one of ours is like, hey, I've noticed you've been to our website, you've seen our masterclass stuff, and you haven't joined us. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? Like sometimes you can make it humorous or whatever. You can experiment with different copy, but all you're doing is you're just putting your brand, you're putting your image, your face in front of them again and again and again. And that's why I love Display Network. So Display Network, I'm sure many of you guys have seen it, is basically when you go to a website, you see like banner ads, like on the sides, on the top, and as you're scrolling down, like in the middle somewhere. That's the Google Display Network. Now, the Google Display Network covers 90% of all internet users on the planet. Okay. So the chances of someone going to your site, right, and then being on the display network is going to be like massive. So what we do is we set up retargeting code on all our sites. And if anyone visits our site and doesn't give us their information or anything like that, if we're retargeting in their area, they'll see our banners all over the place.
Yeah.
Right.
It follows you.
Exactly. And all it's doing is just keeping your brand, your name front of mind. That's all it's doing. Right. And it's going to be the cheapest leads, the cheapest sales that you will make. Right. Because the clicks are really cheap and the audience is warm. Like they've watched your videos, they've been to your page. They're a warm audience, and warm audiences convert 8 times better than someone that's never seen you before.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and a lot of advertisers, they don't do that. They don't do that.
And as you said, it is leaving such a huge opportunity on the table, because someone has already, in one stage of if we talk about the customer relationship journey, they have already interacted with your brand. They've already interacted with or watched, even for a short amount of time, something that you've already created. So I know we're running out of time and I don't want to keep you too long, but
Right.
the 6-step roadmap, what is the 6-step roadmap that we need to be aware of? And as you say, with this roadmap, you're going to be able to consistently scale your YouTube ads.
Yeah. So it's actually 5 steps now. We've actually changed it. So it's actually 5 steps now. We've consolidated. So the first one, right? The first step is having an ad that's properly structured and converts. Okay. Having a properly structured ad. Okay. The next step is your targeting. Okay. Who's your avatar? Okay. Who, what are they, do the due diligence? What are they watching? What are they typing into Google? Okay. And you want to create those audiences inside Google, right? Now, the third step, right, is to obviously start advertising on Google, start advertising using YouTube, okay? And targeting those audiences with those ads, okay? And then the fourth step is retargeting. Okay. You need to be retargeting people who aren't giving you their information, who aren't making sales. Okay. That's going to make you more money than anything else. Right. If you didn't do anything else of what I've said today, if you can do retargeting, you'll make more money. You'll drastically increase the sales in your business just by doing that one thing. Okay. So the fourth step is retargeting. Right. And the fifth step is scaling. Okay. Now there are 2 types of scaling. There's 2 ways you can scale your advertising. Okay. So the first way of scaling is vertical scaling. Okay. And the way you do vertical scaling is you just add more money to what's already working. Okay. So you just add more money to it. Now the problem with that is sometimes your audience sizes are only so big. Right. Yeah. So if you throw more, it's like the law of diminishing returns, right? Like if you only have like a few thousand people in the audience and you're spending, or even say it's like 100,000 people in that audience or plus, whatever, and you're throwing like $100 a day at it, okay, you're going to get to the audience fairly quick, right? So if you throw more money at it, it's not going to work as well. Right? Yeah. Now, if you have a big, massive audience with like millions of people and whatnot, yeah, you could throw $100 a day at it and want to make a dent after 3 months, right? So there's vertical scaling. However, once you cap out an audience, right, once you start seeing that diminishing return, you can then scale horizontally, which is find more audiences, find more people, right? So, instead of doing audiences based upon what they type into Google search, okay, I want to target people who have visited certain websites. Okay. And there are like some of my favorite websites, right, to target are people who are visiting like CRM websites, so customer relation management websites, like Salesforce, Entreport, ActiveCampaign, right? Because people who are using those, right? People who are using those, they have a business. They have a business, right? Another type of websites like to target are like softwares, like tool softwares. So, for example, what's the one I use right now? For example, we have a client that does investing coaching, right? And there are a bunch of soft tools, like websites, whatever you want to call it, that are all about investing, right? So we target those websites. You can target apps, right? People who use certain apps. So one of my favorite apps to target is the Facebook Ads Manager app, right? So anyone who's using a Facebook Ads Manager app, oh, look, here's my ad about YouTube ads.
Okay.
Seriously, there's so many flipping audiences that you can target with this. Like you'll never run out of audiences. You'll never run out of audiences.
And as you say, that's horizontal, where you're tapping in and seeing where else it would be relevant. And one of the things I kind of put my hat on and trying to think what sort of questions would people have on that. And so I loved how you summarized everything into that 5-step roadmap.
Yeah.
So, what I'm hearing you saying is, with one of the benefits, and there are many of the untapped or the undertapped, it hasn't been tapped out yet. If we compare it to, say, as we've mentioned, or you've mentioned, Facebook ads, it is really remains untapped. So certainly a space where people can look at investing, some money within that if they do it correctly. But because of the fact that Google owns YouTube, you also have the ability to be able to tap in to that whole, the search in and of itself. So if someone is searching on Google and you are you are also paying ads to be shown within the YouTube space, does the fact that you have an ad running on YouTube place, if someone is searching on Google for something that you are advertising and they search in the search engine and start looking around, does Google then show your ad more likely if they are on the YouTube channel searching? Does that also connect, or is that different? Does my question make sense?
Yeah. So that makes sense. So you're talking like between Google search and YouTube search?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, it all comes down to targeting. So I can target people who are typing in certain keywords, certain search terms in YouTube, right? That's one type of campaign. Another type of campaign is, you're targeting people who are typing in stuff on Google search. So, that's you can combine them. Oh, no, you can't combine them. Sorry, you can't combine them.
Okay, that's okay.
You can create 2 different campaigns that target both of them.
Yes.
Right. But yeah, so once you type in once you visit certain websites, once you type in certain keywords, watch certain YouTube videos, Google will remember that stuff, right? They remember it, right? And then they'll show you ads relevant to what you're looking at, because like 95% of all of Google's revenue comes from it's just from Google search advertising. The vast majority of its revenue comes from Google search advertising. So it has a lot of data on everyone, right? So it knows what we're searching. It knows what websites we're looking at. It knows if like on our phones, if we have the Google Play Store, what apps are on our phone, what videos we're watching. It knows, like, if you use Google Calendars, or if you use G Drive, right? You Google Drive. If you use Gmail, right? It sees. It knows what you're buying. It knows
Which kind of freaks people out from a user perspective. But when we put our marketing advertiser hat on, it goes, that's great that we can tap into that.
Exactly. If I go on my phone, I go, hey, Google, blah, 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 blah. Oh, see, it comes up now. See? So it's listening. Google's freaking everywhere, right? And so it has all this data on everyone. Now, as you said, as an individual, I like my privacy, kind of thing. As an individual, scares the crap out of me. As an advertiser, I love it. I think I love it more than I'm scared of it. Right? I probably should go around. But, but it's just, and it's all first party data, right? So it's not really, like with Facebook, right? If these outside third party, like Apple, for example, that make these big changes and whatnot, okay, it really affects your Facebook ads, because they have to buy this data from other places.
Isn't it? There's a lot of data that's not accessible.
Exactly. Whereas Google has all this first party data, right? So it can just draw upon all this data by itself, without having to go out to other third parties, right, to get data. And it's way more consistent. It's way more scalable. Like I can
more intuitive. It knows what you want to search for before you even want to search for it yourself. We kind of joke at, isn't it? Google knows what you're going to search for before you actually search for it. It's that intuitive.
That's it.
which again could be kind of creepy, but as marketers and advertisers, we can tap into that. And I know what we've spoken about today, Marcus, again, just scratching the surface, but I do appreciate you being able to really unpack what you have for us today, because I think it's one of those things, if we're going to do any strategy for our business, we want to find out what are some of the things we need to be aware of, what not to do, what to do to be able to walk through it a little bit, to get a bit of an appreciation to say, A, is this even something that I want to consider? And B, thank you, Marcus. Let's find out a little bit more about you. So this would probably be a great opportunity for people to find out a little bit more on how can they get in contact with you, Marcus. Do you have a channel on YouTube? What are all of the great ways to connect?
Yeah, so if you just go to, so if you want to contact us, a Titan Marketer, just go to titanmarketer.com, and then you'll be taken to our website where there's a whole bunch of different strategies there, or different options you can choose there to get in contact with us. And if you want to visit my YouTube channel, I put up videos all the time, at least once a week usually. You can just type in Marcus Svedin, and then you'll see my ugly mug somewhere on there. And you'll see my channel there. It's all about YouTube. You can't miss it.
Yeah, fantastic. And who knows, once we click through, we may also be able to see one of your ads in action.
That's if you're in my area where I'm advertising.
Yeah, well, probably once you go to the website, there's going to be some kind of retargeting.
It's funny. We were advertising all to Australia with some stuff, and my kids, they get on YouTube and they watch a bunch of YouTube nonsense. And anyways, they kept seeing my video come up. They start freaking out, like, Dad, you're on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, it's an ad. Don't click on it,
Yeah, that's right. click skip.
Yeah, click skip. Don't click on it. So, it's pretty funny.
Oh, that's great. Love that. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, Marcus. As I said, I know that we've only just scratched the surface when it comes to all of the things that we should know. But the good thing is we don't have to learn everything. We can certainly partner with someone such as yourself to be able to help us navigate through that. But as I said, I mean, YouTube is something that is, in comparison to some of the other platforms, quite untapped. And you never know, when you do some research into the YouTube and who is advertising on there may be a gap for people to fill, because, as you said, there's 100%. Not as many people advertising. So
100%.
Thanks once again for coming on.
What I'll do also is I will send you a resource link. So inside that link, we have YouTube ad checklists, YouTube ad like templates, like the format and whatnot. There's a few of the bits and pieces in there that help people script out a YouTube ad. Because again, that's the biggest thing, is the creative itself, right? It's one of the biggest things. So, and that'll help. All the resources inside that link will help them create really good ads.
Yeah. Are you going to set up a special link? So you want to track how many people are coming from this particular episode, or
I'll just give you the link and you can just post it wherever you want.
Yeah, look, if you want to share it with the link now, and I'll type it up. What's the link, Marcus?
Oh, I'll have to find it first. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick.
That's all right. Do that now, because I think we've got some people that have been watching there. By the way, while Marcus is looking up that link, I've asked a number of questions which have I thought would be interesting. If you've got a question that you would like to ask Marcus, and if it is a longer question, then I'm sure he may have some resources. But if you want to put your question in the comment box before we go, while we still have Marcus here, please go ahead and do that, and then I'll share that question before we let Marcus go for the day. So if you've got a question that I might not have asked, or that you think, oh, I would love to know this, leave your comments or question in the comment, and I'll ask Marcus before we go.
Where do I put that link at?
So if you want to share that link, or you can type it in, if you want to type it in the comment, Marcus, if you've got access there, then I can show that up on the screen there.
Is it in private chat? I've never used the studio before.
Oh, that's okay. Is it a longer link, or is it something that you can just read over and I can type it in? Oh, here we go. Let me see.
Did you see that? The
yes,
services.
I can. Yep. So let me just do this. I'm going to take this to the banner here. Add a banner. So it is a long link, but we will also add this in the show notes as well.
Yeah,
and but there we go. So titanmarketer.com/services/live-masterclass. And I'm reading it out for those people who are listening to the audio only down the track, /YT-ads-free-resources. But I will put it in the show notes. So go and have a look at the show notes.
We should make that shorter.
Yeah. Use one of those pretty link ads or so, and
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, terrific. Okay, here is a question here. Let me ask this. Mark asks, do moms use YouTube for searches?
I 100%. So we had a client a couple of years ago, and they were targeting. They're like a breastfeeding coach, right? So they teach moms like how to properly breastfeed and that sort of thing, right? Without having to worry about mastitis and pain and latching issues. Anyways, we won't get too much into it. But so we started targeting keywords on YouTube about moms trying to, with breastfeeding and that sort of thing. So 100%. Do moms do use 110%?
Yeah. So Mark, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
So another thing was like what we did was we targeted what she calls them, like moms would put their kids to bed, right? Their babies to bed, and they put like they use YouTube to put like lullabies on and music. So they started putting their ads on those ones as well, and those were converted quite well.
Yeah.
So,
I would imagine if there's anything, if there's a topic that someone is searching for, and it would bring, because they're looking for a video resource, then the YouTube search is there. I mean, I probably use YouTube now to watch. We don't really watch a lot of TV because, TV. We use a lot more YouTube because, travel videos and all those sorts of things. And if I'm wanting to do something like cook, let's have an example, how to cook rye sour bread dough, because what I'm doing is just not working. So I thought I'm going to have to Google, search for someone who's doing it on YouTube ads. Up comes, lots of wonderful videos. So someone who is advertising that may have a class to walk someone through from step A to, Z on how to create that could be an ad that pops up. So,
100%.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So fantastic. Well, I hope that answers the question, Mark. They've given us a great opportunity to add or leave that URL there for people who want to go and find out a little bit more about a bit of a checklist, I guess, a scorecard as to what needs to be in place. And again, Marcus, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Anne-Marie. My pleasure. Take care.
Hey, it's Anne-Marie. Before I go, are you a coach or a consultant who feels like the world's best kept secret? Your experience is vast, yet secretly you're frustrated because despite all of your hard work, you're just not getting the visibility, the recognition, or new clients you'd hope for, and you don't know why? I've created a free resource that'll help you build visibility, generate leads, and enroll dream clients with ease because you're seen as a trusted authority, even in a crowded marketplace. And you've positioned yourself as the choice versus just a choice for your dream client. To get started, go to annemariecross.com/gift. That's annemariecross.com/gift.